NSTP2 Home Immersion by the CASTRO Andre Alexander J. Project Compose Procom Healthy and Living, a project on composting organic materials and nourishment of plants and fruits. Dedication. I dedicate my home immersion project to my family and friends. A special feeling of gratitude of my loving mom, Ruth, whose words of encouragement and push of tenacity rings my ears. My sister Aisha have never left my side and are very special. Lastly, I also dedicate this home immersion project to my many friends who have supported and helped me throughout the process. I am forever grateful for their moral support. All of them become my best supporters. Acknowledgement. I wish to thank the faculty of NSTP who were more than generous with their expertise and precious time. A special thanks to all of them for the countless hours of reflecting, reading, encouraging, and most of all the patience throughout the entire process. Thank you for Mrs. Elizabeth Verayo for agreeing to serve my insights on my project. I would like to acknowledge and thank my school division for allowing me to conduct my home immersion and providing assistance required. Special thanks goes to the members of the department. Finally, I would like to thank the teachers, mentors, and trainers of our school division that assisted me with this project. I dedicate the home immersion project with my trainer, Mrs. Elizabeth Verayo, for assisting me with the project. Their excitement and willingness to provide feedback made the completion of this home immersion project an enjoyable experience. Table of Contents. Introduction, Objectives, Summary of overall immersion, Activities undertake, Problems encountered and solutions applied, Suggestions, Recommendations, Lesson learned, and pictorials and video. Introduction. The composing procedure is a complicated interplay between the waste and the microorganisms in the waste. Compost can be used as a soil amendment to decorate soil's physical, chemical, and organic houses for meal processing and landscaping applications. These substances integrate to create nutrient-dense soil to assist in developing uncommon plant life in any space. Surprisingly, manure can repel poisonous pests. It can even assist in lessening the quantity of waste that finally ends up in landfills through composting. It interprets a discount within the number of radioactive leachants and greenhouse gas online emitted into the environment. Ensuing in decreased general emissions, composting additionally reduces the usage of synthetic fertilizer, which pollute our water supplies. Furthermore, composting will save money not just for a home but also for a city and finally a country's budget. Composting, for example, will help a family save money by allowing them to grow pesticide-free fruits and vegetables without having to waste money on chemical fertilizers. Waste treatment costs for the area and potentially the whole world will be reduced due to the less trash sent to landfills. Objectives. This overall goal of this 36 hours home immersion is to supply the nutritious and nourished plants and fruits from composting. By controlling a biological mechanism to maximize the nutrient density and nutrient supply of waste with limited mechanical processing and odor. This method aids improving the natural environment, A. Producing a beneficial product from waste, B. Replenishing the organic content of soils, C. Improving low production agricultural land, making an organic fertilizer from waste the ability of materials in food waste, planting seeds with one-on-one care with given essentials nutrients, to stabilize the biodegradable organic materials and to retain maximum and sufficient nutrient. Summary. Composting regulates the decomposition of plant-based organic matter. This includes leaves, grass, food waste, and manure from plant-eating animals into fertile soil. Breaking down materials into simpler forms of matter is fragile that decomposes in hours, days, or weeks. With this project, The trainee gathers sufficient food waste from the food consumption of our household that relies on the production of carbon and nitrogen, which feed each other. Carbon produced through brown materials such as overripe banana peels add bulk and feed the organisms in your compost. Nitrogen comes from green materials such as vegetable peelings that heat up the compost pile and encourages all important organisms to multiply quickly. As organic composting, the trainee selected a dry and shady spot, added brown and green materials collected that shredded into small pieces, moistened dry materials as they needed, and waited for 14 days or 2 weeks for the compost to use. The project benefits as it enriches soil, helping retain moisture and suppresses plants' disease and pests, reduces the need for chemical fertilizers, encourages the production of beneficial bacteria and fungi that break down organic matter to create humus, and rich nutrient-filled materials, and reduces methane emission from landfills and lowers the carbon footprint. Activities undertaken. Project 1. Gathering of compost materials needed. Shredding compost materials into small pieces. Compile of materials for organic compost and moisten after. Moisten compost until 14 days. Watering plants and planting penchay seeds. After 14 days of moistening the compost, watering plants and watching plants grow. Mixing compost to plants available and the new planted seeds. As the plants continues to grow, which enrich and sufficient soil of organic compost, the trainee encountered a dead plant, replaces it with a new seed, and then ants invaded the buried seeds. Replanted seeds and water all of it, then talk to them. The trainee started to germinate a lemon seed to plant with compost soil. Day 30. Planted new lemon seeds, watered them, and talked to them for a while. And lastly, the last day of our project Immersion, where I talked to them lastly, watered them, and helped them to grow. Problems encountered and solutions applied. Not enough heat. A good compost often gets high like the temperature of a hot cup of tea near the pile's base. If heat does not begin to accumulate within a week or so, the nitrogen content is most likely to low. Attempt to bring more green products to the pile. If it is a cold weather, will be a problem. To shield the microbes from cold weather and keep them alive, insulate the pile with straw bales and cover it with black plastic. Unwanted pests. Since flies love to lay eggs in rotten plants, flies and maggots can become a pest near the compost pile. It would help to ensure the materials is cut small before applying it to the mound, as we'll be coating freshly applied green materials with a layer of brown any time this is added. Finally, cover the heap with a mesh shield to hold flies and completely out. Rotten smells. A compost pile smells like rotten eggs or rotting food. This suggests there is a little oxygen to help anaerobic microbes, so anaerobic microbes have taken over. Unfortunately, as a byproduct of compost, they contain hydrogen sulfide, which smells like rotten eggs. Not enough moisture. A compost pile that is not wet would not decompose. When first constructing the mound, add copious quantities of water with each layer and leave a flat top to allow rainwater to reach the stack. If the pile does not have the moist feel of a wrung-out sponge when turned, add water. Adding too much water is less an issue, particularly if the pile is well aerated. Then allowing the pile to dry out. Compost made from scratch is an excellent gardening research. Every gardener can have a steady supply on hand with a little practice and observations. Suggestions, recommendation. As a trainee for this project, here are suggestions and recommendations. Buy a decent compost bin. Pick the perfect spot for your compost heap or bin. Let the worms do the hard work. Put the right stuff in composting, including vegetable and fruits. Don't pull the wrong stuff in, like meats and chemical products. Get the balance right. Properly mix the green and brown for proper decomposting. Give it a good airing. Turn fallen leaves into compost too, getting the best out of your compost with the right color of dark brown and spongy texture. Lessons learned. Reduces landfill waste, creates nutrient-rich soil, helps to reduce gross greenhouse gas emissions, positively affects air quality, averts garden pests, neutralizes soil, reduces erosion, cheap and cost-effective. Pictorials/video. Gathering of materials for compost: soil, egg shells, vegetable peels, fruit peels, and container. Compost soil. Garden plants, day 1 to 42, growth of plant with compost. Pecha and bok choy plants. Lemon plant growth. References. Thank you for watching.